Hi, everyone. Thank you for taking out time for us this Saturday. I'm so glad that you have joined us for today's webinar on engaging youth in India's development. The idea for this webinar was born from India Giving Day, a national day of giving that encourages Americans and especially the Indian diaspora to come together to support India in achieving its humanitarian and development goals. This day will be celebrated on March 2nd, but early giving and events related to this initiative are open now. I will share links in our chat about the same. India Giving Day and Sehgal Foundation both highly value the perspective that youth and young professionals bring with them. As you may know, or will learn today, that Sehgal Foundation has a noteworthy internship and volunteer program, and many of you here have experienced this firsthand. We gathered today with speakers Jane Shukowski, Academic Liaison for Sehgal Foundation, Anjali Makhija, CEO and Trustee of S M Sehgal Foundation India, Jay Sehgal, Executive Vice President of Sehgal Foundation, and former interns and current ambassadors of Sehgal Foundation, Chandler Pohl, Ashwin Sinha, and Nina Gulati, all of whom will introduce themselves as they speak. Their aim today is to share about the support that Sehgal Foundation extends to you as interns or volunteers and bring to light the critical role you play in the foundation and in India's development, especially during India Giving Day. Before I hand over the next leg of this conversation to Jane, I encourage you all to introduce yourselves on chat. I know some of you already have, and please keep an eye out for the links that we will share there. Also, we have set aside some time for any questions you may have. Please only use the Q&A tab at the bottom and mention whom you'd like to address your questions to. Our speakers will respond to your questions to the best of their ability in the allotted time. And I think that's enough talking from me. Thank you all, and over to Jane.
Good morning, good evening, Anjali. I'm Jane Shukowski. I'm a former CEO of Sehgal Foundation and currently the academic liaison. That means I'm a bridge between universities and faculty and students in the United States with the team in India. Earlier, I was a law professor, so the academic side of things is familiar to me. Our rural development work in India offers many opportunities for research and learning. During winter breaks and summers, US faculty, sometimes Canadian faculty, bring university undergraduates and master's level students to India in a variety of subject areas, hydrology, women's studies, global development generally. In addition to the study abroad visits and collaborations that come from that, there are research projects, and also unrelated to specific university ties, we often receive internship applications from people all over the US, some from Canada and some from Europe for that matter. So today's focus is on the internship experience and program. Why intern at Sehgal Foundation? Internships are a great opportunity for learning about the context of rural development in a semi-arid region, which is where the headquarters of Sehgal Foundation is based. Students learn about village life and governance. They see the work that's being done in multi-religious communities. They see the issues of access to water, techniques of farming, school and health systems, village communications, including our community radio station, and how people participate in village decision-making. Of course, as they're bringing their academic side to it, they're looking into the policy issues, the systems issues, and in some cases, legal issues. So how do these internships come about? The staff in India are working very hard and often appreciate help from students on particular subjects that they want to develop further. So they post on the website, Devika will later provide the link in the chat, a list of topics that can be addressed in 2 to 3 months during a summer internship, and the credentials that the staff think a student should have in order to work on the particular topic. By credentials, I just mean the academic coursework background. The internships are on a volunteer basis. That means there's no pay for them, but the foundation supplies everything from airport pickup and accommodations, simple meals, and of course, all the local transport required for the internship work itself. Some universities support internship costs, such as airfare and so forth, so check with your own university. Virtual internships are also possible. We had several during the pandemic, and we had them earlier too, when distance was an issue for people. So how do you apply? The website will give you a lot of different sorts of information. I'd start with the video, which tells you the whole process. And you'll also see testimonials from students. You'll see a list of projects that you could consider applying for. And if you have questions, you can pose them to me or to Jay Sehgal, and ultimately you apply directly to India. In India, the staffer, Sam Kapoor, will set up an interview with a mentor, potential mentor there, and you can interview for the position, and the mentor ultimately decides if it's a good fit. Then Sam will work with you on the logistics and the timing of visa application and so forth. So I can't emphasize too much how the team appreciates the work of interns. You bring curiosity and energy, you ask fresh questions, and that's really a wonderful addition to the steady daily work that they are doing, contributing to the development of local communities. Anjali Makhija, CEO of S M Sehgal Foundation in India, will speak next to tell you more about the foundation and the internships. Thank you.
Thank you, Jane, and hello, everyone. And it's a pleasure for me to be interacting with all of you. I'm Anjali Makhija, and I'm one of the trustees of S M Sehgal Foundation in India and the CEO. I have been with the foundation for over 22 years. I'm working in villages, and my experience has mostly been in working with women across various programs related to women leadership, life skills education, digital literacy, and participation of women in agriculture and water. So I will briefly take you through the foundation's work through a presentation, just to give you an idea about what we are doing, so that you know what you can look forward to when you come to India. So Sehgal Foundation is a community-led development organization, and our focus really is to achieve a positive social, economic, and environmental change across rural India. So in all our programs, community works first. You know, community leads the whole program, the whole project cycle, and we talk about sustainability globally now, but we started with sustainable development many years ago when we started. And one of the key focus areas for sustainability is that the community takes charge. And by community, I strongly want to emphasize that women leadership is a core focus in all our programs. So we have 4 major programs: local participation and sustainability, agriculture, water, and transform lives one school at a time. And I will briefly take you through all of these programs in the coming slides. In the agriculture development program, the focus is on basically increasing the income of farmers and increasing productivity and reducing the cost of inputs. And we are talking about climate change. So climate change is really demystified at the local level when we talk with the farmers on climate smart agriculture. So various agricultural technologies are used to work with farmers, and especially women farmers. So some of you are interested in agriculture. This is a very interesting program to interact with the farmers and contribute. Water is a big issue globally and especially in India, where the groundwater is depleting at a very fast pace. So the availability of water is a problem. It's becoming a problem, especially in rural areas and also in urban areas. So we work with the communities and we have programs on harvesting rainwater. So the picture you see is of a check dam where water is collected. And also we work on promoting sustainable technologies for safe drinking water. And again, water is an issue which is very closely associated with women and girls. So because they are responsible for water across, in families and fetching water. So water is a very important area on which we work. Local participation in sustainability is the third program, and this is basically on sustaining all the programs. So sustainability of all programs through community-based organization, institutions, participation of women is very important. Strengthening participation of communities in the institutions which the government has mandated, and also in making development more inclusive. So that is the key programs which is integrated in all our programs. Transform lives one school at a time. And I think many of you are familiar with this program. And the focus here really is to provide a dignified life to the children in government schools in rural areas. So in rural areas, there is lack of wash facilities often, especially for the girls. So we try and promote wash facilities, creating wash facilities, and promoting an environment which is conducive for children so that they can come and feel excited and they can learn. The learning outcomes are increased, enrollment is increased. And also we promote life skill education and digital literacy, which is one of the very important programs of Transform Lives. And I will talk more about our digital literacy component in the Transform Lives in a while. So this is a program where we work with young boys and girls to prepare them for development in future. We have two support functions. One is outreach for development, which focuses on communication tools, making it locally available in the language which the community understands, and reaching out to the community through community radios. You can see one of the photographs is on community radio, where we distribute the radios also so that the communities have an access and they hear about all the development related programs. Rural research and development is another function where all the programs, all the projects are, we conduct a baseline and then they are assessed in terms of the outcomes and impact. And as Jane was mentioning about the policy issues, so this is a great area where the interns can contribute by contributing to the policy aspects of various programs in which we are working. So these two functions are again related to all the four programs which I mentioned. And we have had great interns, great research studies. Especially we've seen that interns are very interested in, doing short-term research studies and contributing to the communications, because that is an expertise which they bring, in terms of writing, in terms of creativity, and a lot of interns in these two areas, we look forward to. A little more about the digital and life skills awareness. So, digital literacy in India is not just about building digital divide between the urban and rural areas, but it is also about promoting gender equity, because girls typically, they do not have the smartphones, even though, everyone has phones, but the smartphone access in rural areas, especially among girls, is very poor. So it's about building confidence. It's about opening a whole new world of technology, information, knowledge, empowerment. So we provide basic digital devices to the children, laptops in terms of laptops, and provide internet. And we take them through a curriculum for about 4 to 6 months. And along with that, programs on various government portals, they get an access to, and they can, get information, and they can access to these programs, and they spread this information in their families. So there that, it's like a snowball effect among the girls and boys and their families. And as I said, digital and life skills awareness is also basically about building self-confidence, decision-making, personality development, and various programs on life skills such as, goals in life, or communication skills, negotiation skills, being aware of the communities. A lot of other curriculum and modules related to their life and decision making are integrated, so that these young boys and girls, they feel empowered to make effective life choices in their future. So around 11,000 children have completed the digital literacy course, and 82% of them are girls. And the need and the urge is great. We just want to expand this program, and India Giving Day is also focusing in India Giving Day also. This is one of the campaigns which we are focusing on, because it's so much more than technology what we are talking about. So it's an empowerment tool. And these are some of the photographs. You can see these young girls, and they feel so vibrant and happy when they have access to technology, and they are able to make a difference in their own lives, and also in the lives of their families. These are smart classrooms. Children in rural areas, they never have they never have access to going through an airport, seeing the plane, or seeing the ship. So we have, tried to bring them near to their schools, in their schools, near to their life. So we have these smart classrooms in terms of the aeroplane and ships. And inside these classrooms, there are, smart TVs, which has all the audio-visual sessions for the students. And this is a great platform for engaging children in digital literacy. We used to have children coming to our digital literacy centers, and they would go back, but they did not have a regular touch with the digital tools, because, as I said, many girls, they do not have an access to smartphones. It's limited to their fathers or their, brothers. So then we decided that we would like to set up a digital library in a school where we are working. So in all the schools, now we are setting up digital libraries. So that is a platform, that is a room in which the young boys and girls, they can continue to come, and they can continue to access study material and get more information, and be digitally savvy, ongoingly. So these are the glimpses of some of our digital libraries, and we plan to expand this. That is the need of the hour, and we want to really scale it. So digital library is, of course, a tool to enhance education, develop personality, and improve general knowledge. And it includes syllabus of high school till class 12, life skills education center modules, and motivational and short stories, AV sessions, and of course under general knowledge materials such as books and world maps, logical reasoning, and a whole lot of things which they are interested in. So that is about digital literacy. Jane has mentioned about the internship, and I just want to reiterate one point, that interns are our ambassadors. They are ambassadors of Sehgal Foundation and our work in villages. And Jane has talked about both in-person and virtual internships. And we've had a wonderful experience in which The interns have shared their skills and experience, and also it's a win-win situation. They also get an exposure to this whole world of diverse India. India is a very diverse country. It has many states, and every state is very diverse. So, and cities and urban areas and rural areas again are very diverse, very different. So the whole lot of diversity is there, which the students can get exposure to, and also an understanding of the rural development. These are some of the pictures. The first picture is of an intern who is presenting. So after the internship, each intern presents. He or she prepares a presentation, and then we have a discussion with the staff, with the entire team at Sehgal Foundation. The second picture is an intern with one of our program leads in the community. And the third one is the intern visiting one of our partners, one of our partner organizations. So we have these facilities, Sehgal Foundation. It's a green building. It is a zero runoff site. We harvest water. Everything is on solar. It's a great place to be, very environment friendly. It's a LEED certified building. And as Jane has mentioned, that we provide pickup facilities from the airport and bring you to the facility, and you have this lovely environment where you can work, as well as we take you to the villages which are close by, about 1 hour drive from our office, and the transportation is arranged, and you get an exposure of all the rural development activities. So these are the boardrooms, workspace, and also the auditorium. And we have these simple flat plates, very clean and hygienic flat plates, individually. For every person, there is a flatlet. So these are individual rooms with the attached toilet. And then we have the dining area, 24-hour internet. And these are the solar panels, on our rooftop. So these are the facilities you can look forward to. And I hope to see some of you in the campus in the near future. I look forward to a very meaningful involvement of interns to the cause of rural development. And I would personally like to invite you to the foundation and be a part of our journey. Thank you so much. And with this, I will be happy to answer any questions later, but we will move on, and I would like to introduce you to Chandler. Chandler has been in the foundation. He is a former intern, and he's one of our brand ambassadors. And we look forward to Chandler sharing his experiences. And over to you, Chandler. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name's Chandler, and I'm an ambassador, a former intern for the Sehgal Foundation. I found Sehgal back in 2011, I believe. I was on a study abroad trip with my law school, and we were doing a comparative analysis of laws of America and laws of India. And a few of my fellow students in that study abroad had a few days with Sehgal Foundation in one of the villages in Mewat. And on, I think, the third day, I joined them to go to Mewat. And that's when I saw a radio tower. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. I wonder what they play on that radio tower. And as I started inquiring, I realized that the radio tower was there as part of Sehgal's mission to spread the word through a village. And at the time, 2011, there were no smartphones. So an easy way to communicate with people was through radio. And I had a background in film and television. And so when I saw the radio tower, I thought, hey, this is something that I'm familiar with. This is something that really excites me. And this really means that I should get in touch with the Sehgal Foundation and figure out how can I be a part of it. And so that next summer, I came back to India, and I interned in Gurgaon with the foundation. And I worked on a good governance video to document the process of going out into the villages and trying to determine how governance in the villages could improve. And that or dovetailed into my legal studies because I'd worked at the legislature in my home state of Nevada, and to try to understand how a government works, and most importantly, how a government communicates with its citizens. And there's always kind of a breakdown in that communication, and part of what good governance means is that communication always flows down to the general public. And so in India, when I was working studying the good governance, I remember I was shooting this documentary, and it was in a different language, and I was standing in the middle of a mustard field, and I was videotaping a conversation going on, and I thought, wow, this is truly incredible, that I had never anticipated in my life that the career I had in film and television and the career I was building in legal would lead me to stand in the middle of a mustard field in rural India. And then going back to the office and doing the editing process and getting a translator, and Devika would help translate. I would show her the video and I'd say, I think this is the clip where the person says what I'm thinking they're saying, and Devika would translate. And I was like, great. So I wound up editing together. It was a fantastic experience. So I've been connected with Sehgal for about 10 years or 11 years now, and through LinkedIn, I see the updates, and I'm always curious as to what that mustard field looks like today as kind of the world evolves, organizations evolve, and issues evolve. What happened to those people, and what happened to those issues, and also I found that when I came back to America, those issues just didn't stay in India, because the water issues over the past 10 years, when I came back to Las Vegas is now going through a water crisis. And it looks like this water crisis is going to last for, in perpetuity. And so the question goes to the government and the local leaders, what are we doing with our own water issues? And is there any way that we could take what we've learned from other places and implement them back here in America as best practices? So I'm totally curious as to what happens here in my home state, given my experiences back over in India. I guess the biggest lessons I learned while I was there was working with a language barrier was difficult but not insurmountable, because a lot of the times you can read a human's body language and get an idea of what emotions they're going through, and so there's a way to have empathy with somebody even if you really can't communicate with them, and understanding somebody even if you can't communicate with them. And then I also learned that the governance is not, it's difficult, but it's not impossible. And small issues that can be solved make it easier to solve big issues. So for instance, standing in the middle of a mustard field with people who I didn't speak the native language was something I'd never done before. But I recalled, I know the topic, I know what we're here to shoot, and I know how to shoot. I just don't know exactly what's being shot right now. But I had the faith that if I knew 2 of the 3 problems, I could solve the 3rd one later on, and we did. So like any idea, everything seems very difficult at the time. But once you get to India and you're there for a little bit, I think you'll get the feeling that nothing is impossible. Everything is just maybe challenging. And there's a huge reward at the end of the day when you've overcome 1 or more challenges, and then the next day becomes that much easier. And I also learned the biggest takeaway was that the world is a huge place. And when you get an opportunity to study abroad in India, you realize that the world is a huge place, but it gets smaller and smaller the more you know, and the more you stay connected with people and these issues. And it's interesting, my friends are doing whatever they're doing on a Saturday morning, and I'm here reconnecting with my friends and former colleagues about a small corner of the world on the other side of the planet. So it's just a great opportunity, and I've really enjoyed being part of it. And I look forward to hearing what the other ambassadors have done with their time. And I believe the next ambassador is Ashwin, and I'm excited to hear what he has to say.
Yeah, thank you so much, Chandler. My name is Ashwin Sinha, and I'm a finance graduate from Drake University in Des Moines, Iowa. I graduated last May, and I'm now a technology risk consultant at Ernst & Young here in Des Moines also. I've lived in Des Moines, Iowa, my entire life. I'm 22 years old, but I was thankfully able to get involved with the foundation very early in my life in 2008, when I was 8 years old. Um, I had gone to India for the first time for a wedding. Let me share my screen really quick. I went to India for the first time in 2008, and I was there for a wedding, but throughout my whole trip, I kept hearing about certain villages that didn't have access to clean water, schools that didn't have playground equipment, and classrooms without desks, chairs, and benches. Now, to an 8-year-old from Des Moines, Iowa, I was just asking where are the TVs, but at the time I didn't realize that they didn't have really accessible access to clean drinking water. So I came back from the trip and I knew I had to do something about this huge imbalance as I compared it to my very comfortable life in Des Moines. This is some of the classrooms in Mewat that I saw where students were sitting on the ground floor. I think the biggest thing that did hit me was the lack of clean water and sanitary bathrooms. Never had I thought where my water was coming from or how clean it was. So I really wanted to make a difference when I got back home. So with the help of my friends and family, and of course the Sehgal Foundation, we started an 8-week fundraiser to build a well for a village in rural India in Mewat. So this well cost $2,000, and we were very excited to get interactive with this fundraiser. So here's me in my 3rd grade classroom, and Jay was able to give a presentation that day. I remember going on the PA announcements every morning and spreading the word about this fundraiser, and going to each individual classroom from K through 6 and picking up a little manila folder of any change or dollar bills that people were kind enough to donate. So with that 8-week fundraiser, we were able to raise $1,400, which is just short of our $2,000 goal, unfortunately. So we weren't able to provide for a well system. The goal was to provide a water well for this village. So instead, we were able to build and repair over 180 desks and benches for a classroom in Mewat. And you can just see the smiles on their faces after, and what a difference that made just from one elementary school in Des Moines, Iowa in 2008. So this was my first connection with the Sehgal Foundation, and I've been very happy to stay connected with the foundation since, participating in local events when I can. And I was even able to visit in 2015 just to visit their site because I had heard all about their platinum rated LEED building. Very eco-friendly. You saw the solar panels and the very nice room setup. And I was an intern as well, so I'll get to that in a little bit, but I really enjoyed the campus in Gurgaon. So fast forward 3 years to 2018, I'm 18 years old, and I'm applying to colleges and assessing my options post high school. I decided I wanted to pursue an internship with the foundation and make a big difference before college started and life would inevitably get busier. So I had applied for an internship through the Sehgal Foundation just outside of New Delhi, which I was very excited for. And with a very opportune time, I thought it was the best time to start a fundraiser for another water-based project called Worksheets for Water. Now, maybe this was just me thinking back to my 8-year-old self saying, we didn't get and reach that $2,000 goal for the well, so let's do another water project. But I was very excited and passionate about it. So we partnered with a local education center called Kumon Math and Reading, and to encourage other youth here in Iowa to participate and get involved, or at least hear about the issues that impoverished areas in India are facing. So Jay was able to come to the center. We had some incentives for the students. You know, the more Kumon worksheets they completed, the more raffles or prizes they could get. And it was very interactive for the students. So we were able to raise $4,000, and Sehgal Foundation matched that to $8,000, which was enough for the rainwater harvesting tank. And this is the tank now in action, now fully serving a community called Banarsi in India. And by any means, this project that I did before my internship was not a prerequisite to doing an internship with the foundation. This is just what I wanted to do because in the summer going into the internship, I had a goal in mind. I wanted to see something tangible done. And it gave me a very tangible experience once I was on the ground in India to see what is happening, what's already in progress. So I can talk about my internship now. I had an internship in the summer of 2018. It was a communications internship. So I was on site in the beautiful campus, but I also went to the villages in Rajasthan and other surrounding states And I interviewed students, some of the teachers, and some of the parents of the students of these schools, just to ask about the Sehgal Foundation's impact on their lives and really what they've done. I discussed digital literacy, rebuilding the schools, governance was mentioned, water is a big part of my background, and life in general. I don't speak Hindi, so I had a translator with me, but it was very easy to communicate with these other high school students at the time. And they really appreciated any different perspective that I brought. And then I also really enjoyed the hands-on experience of working on the campus. And I really saw the inner workings of an international nonprofit before even having my first real job or internship, or even stepping foot on college. So I really would encourage everyone to apply for the internship. It was an amazing experience. So if I could really summarize my involvement with the foundation and my fundraising efforts, I did the Iowa to India project in 3rd grade, which is the benches and desks that I showed at the beginning of the presentation. And that's where I went to India for the first time and then went back home to the United States to make an impact. I did worksheets for water in 2018, where I did this the summer before going to India for my internship. So I was able to get the groundwork done and the layout of my fundraising plan. So that actually built up some of the hype or excitement for my internship as well. And like I said, there's no right or wrong way to fundraise or to do an internship. The great thing about the foundation is that they're flexible and always looking for innovative ways to help rural areas in India. Outside of that, I've spoken at various fundraising events also. Des Moines has annual fundraising events, and I work in an ambassador role for the team. And I've also traveled with Jay Sehgal to Minneapolis and Florida for different events. These are some of the reasons why in the past 15 years, I have stayed connected with the Sehgal Foundation, and hopefully it gives you some reasons to get involved and sparks a little interest, whether that's through an internship or participating in our first ever India Giving Day campaign. Sehgal Foundation has matched the need in rural India with my want and goal, and then made it happen. They're a Des Moines-based non-profit making a huge difference, and I really enjoy their matching component too, where they match dollar for dollar what you provide, what you donate. And it still has made me appreciate what I have to this day. It started in 2008 when I realized they didn't have access to clean drinking water, kids just like me, and that still holds true to me today. So I'd encourage all young people to find what interests you, reach out to the Sehgal Foundation to make that impact, and especially if it's digital literacy, like what this India Giving Day campaign is for, I would highly encourage it. And thank you all very much for listening. Next, we have Nina, who will talk about her virtual internship experience and her ambassador role with the foundation as well. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Ashwin, for sharing your experience with the Sehgal Foundation. Honestly, your work is just truly inspiring to me, and I'm sure to all the people on the Zoom call. So hi, everyone. Like Ashwin said, my name is Nina Gulati. I am currently a senior at Georgetown University, and today I am going to share what I did as a virtual intern for the Sehgal Foundation. And I'm also going to talk about some ways you can get your community involved in India Giving Day. So I was very grateful for the opportunity to be an intern for the Sehgal Foundation during my sophomore year of college. And given the all too familiar COVID pandemic, my work for the organization was virtual. But I was really excited and passionate about working in this organization because I am a global health major in college, and I'm also Indian myself. And I found that I really learned so much about healthcare needs in rural India as an intern. So in my internship, I really wanted to learn about what it looked like to a rural patient to access healthcare, and how did that compare to healthcare delivery in urban parts of India. So what does it look like currently to a rural villager? Well, India has a chronic shortage of doctors. If a rural villager wanted to see a doctor, they would go to something called a primary health center. However, these are very, very far away, and prospective patients can spend pretty much a whole day trying to get there. So keep in mind, this is a whole day without work, a whole day's wages lost, And these centers are very poorly funded and lack good infrastructure. And ultimately, the healthcare that patients are receiving, if they choose to travel there in the first place, is very ineffective. So in my research, I found that some villagers have risen to fill the void in doctors and healthcare professionals and practice medicine themselves. So colloquially, they're known as quacks, and quacks have not had any standard medical education. Their knowledge has come purely from trial and error, past experiences, and positive feedback, which can be misleading. So quacks have become very much so ingrained in not only rural healthcare, but also rural culture. However, I did say that they lack standardized training. They do end up harming several patients rather than helping. So at this point, my research led me to find several state-initiated programs that lasted between 3 months up to a year that tried to teach the quacks how to practice rural medicine in a safe and effective way. Unfortunately, though, after doing some research into the efficacy of these training programs, I did find that they were very unsuccessful. And instead, I found something that had been instituted in India called the Bachelor of Rural Healthcare. So this was a longer, more standardized initiative that lasted 3 years that trained rural healthcare practitioners. However, I did find that the Indian government is opposed to the initiative because some may see them as fake doctors. But ultimately, my research paper proposed that endorsing this Bachelor of Rural Healthcare was the most promising way to address the shortage of doctors and healthcare professionals in rural India. So now I'd like to transition to what I'm doing currently at my university to support the Sehgal Foundation and India Giving Day. So I am partnering with our South Asian Society here on campus. And on March 2nd, we are hosting an open mic night at Georgetown. So during that event, we are super excited to welcome different groups from campus that will perform dances, perform Indian poetry and music, and all proceeds from that event will go towards India Giving Day. I have really enjoyed the process of working with the South Asian Society to start this campaign for India Giving Day. And as an ambassador for the Sehgal Foundation, I want to share ways in which the attendees can get their community involved in this effort. So if you are a student like me, you could do something very similar to what I am doing, hosting an open mic night, inviting groups on campus that celebrate Indian culture and diaspora to perform things like dances, poetry, speaking events, anything like that. Another creative way that we thought of would be hosting a fundraising sale, or if you partner with Indian restaurants in your community, we thought it'd be really cute to do something like a samosa sale and donate all those proceeds to India Giving Day. And there are several other ways in which you could be creative to devoting to this cause, no matter how big or small. We could, of course, take advantage of social media and sharing the link to donate to the Sehgal Foundation through various platforms. And speaking of that link, I will now show you how to utilize how to donate funds to India Giving Day online. So with that, I will share my screen. Just give me 1 second, please. There we go. So Devika has provided the link in the chat that will bring you to this webpage, and it is very easy to make a donation. So you'll just scroll down and click donate, and it'll prompt you to a page where you can choose the amount that you would like to give to India Giving Day through the Sehgal Foundation. And if you would like to name your fundraiser, you also have an option to do so. So you'll enter your first and last name here, click one of the options, whether you're a new donor to the organization, you would like to make this a recurring gift, or make it in honor of someone else. And then you just simply click next, and your donation is submitted to the Sehgal Foundation India Giving Day. And you could share that, you could share your fundraiser through a simple text message, email, post on social media. So with that, thank you so much to the Sehgal Foundation for having me speak as a panelist. And I hope I've inspired some of you, and I hope I've told you different ways you could help raise funds for India Giving Day.
Thanks, Nina. I think with this, we move on to the question and answers session. And I have a question here from Alex Counts, and he asks if we could become a peer-to-peer fundraiser for the Sehgal Foundation through this site. And yeah, that's exactly what I'm here to share with you. So yes, the answer to that is yes, you can become a peer-to-peer fundraiser. I can in fact quickly screen share if that's okay with everyone to show you how you could do that. Just give me a second here. And there you go. Right? So you could pretty much go to the same link that I've shared on chat. And right next to the donate button is a fundraise button. So as soon as you click on that, you put in your first and last name. You can give your campaign a separate name if you'd like. It could be, for example, Devika's fundraising initiative. Put in your email, put in your password, and that's it. You hit submit, after which you get an email, which is the platform hosting this fundraiser, which shares a link to where you can track your fundraising, how the funds that are coming in, if you would like to make some edits to your statements, if you would like to set up individual goals for yourself, and so on. So yeah, thanks for that question, Alex. I wanted to check if there are any other questions from anyone here. And until then, Anjali and Jane, I wanted to ask you, there's a lot of questions that come from students. If you could just basic queries, I know you addressed a lot of them already, but some questions that you faced from students that you could just share here for our attendees.
Yeah, so one of the questions, especially, when there are girl students, they ask about the safety of the students who are coming. So our campus is a very safe environment, and we arrange for, as I said, pickup from the airport and transportation to the villages. And normally these students, they come in groups. So then we have a metro very close by, which goes to Delhi. So students, they try, they like to go in groups. We also have some Indian interns at that time, during that time. So, they make friends and they go along with them, and, they make programs. Sometimes they go to, they spend their weekends close by in Jaipur and Agra, which are, good tourist places. We also arrange for the visit to the Taj Mahal. Yeah, so, it's because it's close by, so we arrange transportation for them. And sometimes Jaipur also, if the time permits. So pretty much, I mean, we don't want to really check them and monitor them, but it's just that we just provide whatever support is required.
Thank you. Anything you'd like to add, Jane, or any other questions that have come your way? You're on mute.
So I lived on the property for 5 years. And one question is, what do you do in your spare time? As Anjali mentioned, there's a metro nearby within walking distance, or a tuk-tuk if it's night and you don't want to walk. But there's good access to the museums and many wonderful things to see in Delhi. Within walking distance, if you're a good walker, there's a shopping area where you can buy Indian clothes to fit in with the weather. So those who go usually talk to a prior intern to figure out what to pack, and basically pack light because you'll want to acquire when you're there.
Thank you.
Sure.
Since I haven't heard any more questions for now, I will hand over the rest of the conversation to you, Jay. Jay, like I mentioned, is the Executive Vice President for Sehgal Foundation and a trustee at S M Sehgal Foundation, India. So over to you, Jay.
Well, thank you, Devika. This has been absolutely amazing. I mean, thank you all of you for these amazing presentations and discussion. In the closing, I think I would like to just mention the fact that the this thing we are trying to create with the internships is a win-win-win situation. I call it three-way win. We create opportunities for our interns. We want to give these opportunities. There's quite a community, Indian community, second generation community in the US, like you have seen with Dina and Ashwin, giving them opportunity in addition to many of the US based students who have a tremendous opportunity, but they don't get the opportunity to see the other side of the world. So what we are trying to do is create an opportunity that for students in the universities to get a hands-on experience, hands-on knowledge of other side of how many of the people who are, we talk about $2 a day type of income, or those students, or like Ashwin talked about, no TV, no water. So these are so getting that type of experience. We create this also an opportunity for our staff in India to also learn from you as your intern on the ground as to what, because you come in with a very fresh mind and you look at things in a very diverse way and you give input to our team saying, hey, we can do this better. We are open to the ideas. We open to listen to the interns and how we can also continue to improve our work. And of course, I think one of the things is that once you get your hands-on experience in India, when you come back in the U.S., we want you to continue to be connected with the teams in India, with the community in India, with teams in the U.S., and how you can further promote the Sehgal Foundation work amongst your colleagues, amongst your co-workers and the friends, and telling about. So this is creating like a promotion for the Sehgal Foundation. As long as you are connected, you continue to learn from the experiences that you have gained while you're in India. So I think I want to, in closing, I want to really say thanks to all of you for joining, and it has been fantastic opportunity, and especially our attendees. I think they have stayed throughout the whole hour. In the closing, I would also like to see our chairperson, Dr. Suri, founder and chairperson, Dr. Suri, is on the call today, as well as you have heard Alex. Are you still there? I think Alex is also here. I will bring them on to say a few words in a closing and share their thoughts about the webinar today. So I'm going to just promote both to the panelists. I think, Alex, you can turn your video on so I can see you, and Dr. Suri also, if you can turn your video on, I'll be able to see you. Are you there? I think their videos are not on. Let me see here. Dr. Suri is there. Alex. And there's Alex. As you have seen, Dr. Suri and Alex, I think you have seen quite a bit of energy from all our interns, and I would like to, in a closing, I would like you both to share your thoughts. Alex, would you like to go first?
Sure. Thank you, Jay. I just first of all want to really compliment Nina and Ashwin and Chandler on their presentations, and thanks Chandler for making sure that I'm not the only great white hope of the Sehgal Foundation. Really appreciate that. I would, these internships, like many older people on this call, my life has been shaped by internships that I did when I was a young person. And in your internships, you'll find that you're going to learn some things. I learned a new language. I learned Bengali. I learned what it was like in rural Bangladesh. And I learned how to lobby Congress in a different internship. But the thing that actually I think is most important was not what I learned, but the people I met, the relationships that I formed. And because some of them, I continue to nurture them for years afterwards, they opened up incredible doors for me as a change maker. I met a guy named Sam Daly Harris when I did a college internship, and I've been in touch with him as recently as this morning on change making work 35 years later. He then sent me kind of to Bangladesh on a Fulbright and I met many people, including Muhammad Yunus, who's a mentor that I have been in touch with in the last 48 hours. I'm now 56, it's many years later. And a woman named Susan Davis, who worked for the Ford Foundation in Dhaka. And I've been in touch with this very morning on a project we're working on together all these years later. And these people have opened doors for me. They've expanded my mind. I've helped them at some times as I became more mature. And so when you do an internship, and by the way, those of us who host interns, extending that hand of relationship, especially people that may be a little more introverted, and then keeping in touch with them, that's a way to make that bond and that more meaningful. I just want to say two things in closing. I really want to thank the Sehgal Foundation for its leadership in so many areas within youth engagement. If every Indian nonprofit in the country engaged youth as much as Sehgal Foundation did, it would be a different community. It would be a different country, really. Its leadership within IPA, the India Philanthropy Alliance, that's sponsoring India Giving Day, and for the public relations support of the IPA's work to get better known. When members of associations, they normally tell associations they're not doing enough for them. But Sehgal Foundation took a different view, saying we want to do more for IPA. And so Jay came up and he said, I want to help IPA get better known, and we're going to provide some support for that. And one manifestation of that, very timely, is that Jay and I and one other IPA leader are having a major article published on March 1st, on the eve of India Giving Day, about youth engagement that nonprofits can do. And it actually mentions this very internship program in the leading philanthropy periodical in the country. And I was just putting the finishing touches on that this morning. I've been kind of busy this morning. Last thing I'll just say is India Giving Day. It's a huge opportunity. It's new. People are just getting to know it. I really, first of all, Sehgal Foundation is one of the 4 or 5 organizations that has gotten the most donations so far. And it's one of the smaller groups, but it's gotten out of the gate quickly. So help keep the momentum going. And think about what you can do. Don't leave it to the last moment. Think about what you can do to move India Giving Day forward today. Can you talk about it on social media? Can you tell someone about it? Can you make a donation? Can you sign up be a peer-to-peer fundraiser today for Sehgal Foundation or some other group if you prefer? And whatever you do on March 2nd, be part of some event. If you can't make it to Georgetown University, in my mind, anytime 3 or more people gather, that's an event, if you want it to be. And just as long as you talk about India Giving Day and talk about philanthropy to India and how that's meaningful for you and how it's meaningful for others, that's an event. Send us photos, have fun, and tell us how it went. So thanks, Jay.
Thank you, Alex. And Dr. Suri, if you'd like to, you're on mute, if you can unmute yourself.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry about that. I'm not a technology person, and so sometimes I have difficulty. The theme of this session is engaging youth. And I was so pleased to see the young people getting involved in the India's development issues, because we are a development NGO and not and we have feet on, we have boots on the ground, in the sense that I didn't, because I can't keep track of all those numbers because they keep changing, our history is very simple. We started out with 4 villages. Now we have 2,000 villages approximately. And we impact in India, in rural India, where the greatest poverty lies, the improve the lives of those 4 million people. 4 million is a small number. But in America is a large number, but in a country like India, where we have 1.4 billion people, it is a small number. Now, let me get to, it is my pleasure to see so many young people getting involved. And we have an internship program under the leadership of Jane Sikowski, who addressed the group in the beginning, and Jay and Devika is expanding. We have so many contacts now. In fact, we have to limit the number of interns because we can't accommodate everybody, because we are limited space. And as Jay said, that it need to be win-win. Both the intern and the foundation need to benefit from the program and in whatever way. Young people are the future champion. We have used the word the champion. We used to have village champion in the past, and still we are promoting, because when I said we have boots on the ground, we work in the villages with the community, and not from the head office, which is very different. Rural India is very different. And the tourist department of government of India says, incredible India. It is incredible in every way. Although I am originally from India, I still find it is incredible. And there's so much learning, so much diversity, so many languages, and it is a challenge to work there, but the challenges need to be overcome. So we are happy. I just want to not make it very long. I just only want to say we applaud these young people for their initiative and drive. I mean, you could see the energy in the young people. They are the true change makers. And just like was pointed out that Alex spending time in villages of Bangladesh is in his life also is a change maker kind of a thing. So these youth are young people are the change makers. They are the future champions for development. And we are very pleased to be of help to them to pursue their interests. We don't say do this or do. We are only saying pursue your own interests, and as long as everybody benefits from it. We are happy. The theme is engaging youth, and it is here to see in action that the young people are involved, which I use the word, they are the future champions and they are the change maker, and we're delighted to be supportive in their efforts. And thank you, and I enjoyed the discussions and deliberation, and all interns and everybody did a great job. I mean, it is fantastic to see their enthusiasm and desire to help. And thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Suri, and thank you, Alex. I think it's been a fantastic day, and we just ran over about 5 minutes, but it was well worth it, I hope. And I want to thank all the wonderful institutions and their faculty taking the time today also to be as attendees. We wish we can give everybody an opportunity to speak, but due to limited time, and I think we'll have to wrap it up now. I really want to thank all our attendees for taking the time and staying with us throughout. We will have the recording. We will circulate the recording to all of you. Please be in touch with us. Devika has shared her email ID. I think most of you know my email ID. Maybe Devika, you can put that as in the chat as well. I want to thank all the panelists, Chandler, Anjali, Jane, Ashwin, Nina. You all are fantastic. What a fantastic day. And with that, I think we'll wrap it up. Thank you again. Thank you for your participation and thank you for attending. Have a wonderful day.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Anjali, you're